When I was surrounded by people in recovery and people who I realized were going to be there no matter what, they were there to support me. And it was that support system that helped make me well. The most exciting thing about the Department of Corrections' First Recovery Initiative is that we are taking people who have been through supervision with the Department of Corrections, either through incarceration or probation, and we're asking them to be trained as peer recovery specialists if they desire to go down that path. And then we're taking them as trained peer recovery specialists and we're allowing them to be vendors with our department to give back to those who are still under supervision. And so every experience that they had, either on the streets through addiction, mental health, incarceration, they're now using all those experiences to help others become free themselves.
I had an abusive boyfriend when I was 17, and I was trapped in that. The stability of my life was completely gone. I didn't feel safe anywhere. I had a low self-esteem anyway, and that made it much worse.
At some point I got to where I felt like I didn't belong, like everybody was better than me, so I felt less than.
At the age of 8, I experienced abandonment and rejection from my father leaving due to addiction.
I found myself really low. Family had walked away from me. Friends kept walking away from me.
That's when I started to drink a little bit, smoke a little weed on the weekends. Didn't realize that I was numbing pain.
Just kept progressing and progressing and progressing until I found some pain pills, some hydrocodone, and somebody introduced me to that. And yet again, I felt like I'd arrived. You know, that was what was missing in my life, was those pain pills.
I was getting to the point where it was like, what's the point in living, especially in active addiction?
I was convicted, became a felon, and that is what put me in a deep, deep depression.
These are individuals with lived experiences. They have been through the criminal justice system. They have suffered from substance use disorders or mental health disorders and have learned tools through the support of others and the department to be able to handle things that may come, challenges that may come in their path.
If you are going to provide peer services to someone in recovery, it would require that you have been in recovery yourself. You want to be able to identify with the people you are providing services for. I tell people all the time, no one knows the guilt of stealing your kids' piggy bank money than someone who's stolen their kids' piggy bank money to go buy drugs. And you know, that guilt will eat you alive. And if somebody can tell you you're not the only one, you know, it just helps.
I got into a recovery room meeting, and I noticed that that was the first time in years, if ever, I felt a strong sense of hope. When I started working in the field, I noticed that the people I was working with had been through the same things I've been through.
For me, I had to be honest with myself that I had a problem and I needed help. I couldn't do it by myself. I had to be open-minded that there was some other solution than the one I had, and then I had to be willing to do that.
Since we have a mutual background in addiction and on the streets, on probation or incarceration, we're able to build this rapport from mutuality and equality, whereas other roles may not be able to do that.
Many people in the system will not listen to anyone else. They will, as a matter of fact, will reject you and say that the only thing that you know is what comes from a book. You don't know what I've been through. Being a peer recovery specialist takes that excuse away.
You know, regardless of how much we try to bridge the gap between staff and probationers, there is still that gap.
Because on the streets, we're taught it's us against them and them against us. And there's no oneness.
And so we then moved to a point of where we formed a partnership with people that had been through this, that were going through it, to where they could help us reach out to other addicts. And that's where Jared and Siandra come in.
In October 2011, I graduated drug court. And a few days shy of 1 year of that graduation, I was hired by the Virginia Department of Corrections as the reentry coordinator.
She would tell me that we needed to go to meetings, like we needed to stay involved in some type of meeting. And when they would take us from the treatment center out to the meetings, she would be at the meetings. So she wasn't just telling me what to do, she was telling me what she did. And that really stuck with me.
Through addiction, with my personal experience was I tried all the wrong ways, and so I remained in self-defeat. And although there were people through my childhood up, I had a supportive family. We hear often that, well, if you love your kids, you wouldn't do this. That's not true. I don't believe that to be true. And the reason I say that is because addiction is a brain disease. So it changes our thinking. It changes everything about ourselves. It took a lot of support, and it took people believing in me when I didn't believe in myself.
My goal is for every district to have a peer recovery specialist, that they are part of our reentry councils, that they develop a network within themselves to help and support each other, and really grow this in not just a hands-on individual approach, but this become workforce development type of program where we continue to employ individuals coming out of our institutions.
It's important that we listen to what that individual may need and really understand what it is that is driving their drug addiction, and to figure out a way to help and assist them to overcome that.
I really do not believe I'd be sober today if I didn't see people that had been recovering from the same disease a little bit further on than me.
It's all about modeling an example to give somebody even maybe a grain of hope that they just don't have to live that way anymore.
No two people have the same walk. There's someone that is waiting to hear your story. They have to hear it. It's a matter of life and death.
We see you, we appreciate you. It's just like the tree that we put on our coin. We have planted seeds in the Virginia Department of Corrections. These individuals love what they do. They would love to continue this work.
We got recovery, push that up.
Everyone here wants individuals to be successful and to break the cycle of their addiction.
We're reaching people, and they're reaching people, and it's making a difference. I know it's made a difference in Tazewell and Buchanan County. I see that, but I think it's making a difference all across the state of Virginia.
All the heartache and the hopelessness and the turmoil and the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment, if that's what it took to help someone know that they can live a better life, that there's other choices that be made, and give them the strength to take one step towards making those choices, it was all worth it.
I was always told you can't keep what you have if you don't give it away, so that's why I did it.
When I was surrounded by people in recovery and people who I realized were going to be there no matter what decision I made, no matter what I looked like, sounded like, or anything like that, and it was that support system that helped make me well.